Hello, this is Jessica with On a Stack of Books, and today we're going to do a reading wrap-up of July. Even though July is not over, this is going to be sort of what I've been reading and what I have read and what I'm currently reading. June, I had a great reading month. July has been okay, hasn't been great. So I'm going to start with this Nancy Bush, Dangerous Behavior. I have read Nancy Bush before with Lisa Jackson. Sometimes they'll write together, and I really like their style. It is suspense thriller. Okay, so our main character, Julia, is recovered from the water. She was out on the boat with her husband, and she just barely survives. The husband does not, but she cannot remember anything. And so her brother-in-law comes and he actually saves her, and he's frustrated. He's trying to get her to remember because he wants to figure out why someone was trying to kill his brother and what happened. And so this is the main storyline, and then you have this other parallel storyline happening of this very steamy affair going on between these two characters, and you get the picture from right away that they are kind of role-playing. So they're calling each other by names, but you definitely understand that it's not really their name. And so you have this storyline going on, and you're not really sure, how they intersect until they do. But it's just a fun trying to figure out what happened. And so it was good. I enjoyed it. I picked this up in a Little Free Library when I was working on the Little Free Library scavenger hunt. So you will see this book when I got this out of one of those libraries. So very good. Just kind of grabbed it and knew that it was going to be good. Of course, I was reading Jaws, and so it's just a great summer read. I already did 3 videos on Jaws. It is Shark Week, and so I've been watching some shark documentaries and everything because I've always liked Shark Week. So it's a great summer book. I'm not going to go into it too much because I did a review and a craft and a read with me, walk with me on that one. This one I did finish. This one I loved. This is a great read. I love Bill Bryson. This is the second book of his that I've read, but I think I have 3 more. And he has other ones, so I'll continue. He's just funny. And I think I have discovered that I like travel writing. I did not know that about myself until just recently. But his first book was a travel book, and I really enjoyed that. And this is his experience walking the Appalachian Trail. And I have done a read with me, walk with me video on this, and I've done a craft video on it, but I've also talked about the Appalachian Trail, and I want to walk it. I've hiked a portion of it. And so I read another book about a man hiking the Appalachian Trail, and such different books. First of all, you just get his writing style. He's funny. But also I definitely felt like this book, you got more of the potential dangers, the real difficulty that the Appalachian Trail is. And, it's a very hard hike. And so the other book that I had read, I think it's called Hiking Through, I felt like there was parts that just kind of glossed over. Like they hiked for 15 hours and they did that for several days until they made it. And I was like, that's a lot, and didn't really get into all the ins and outs of it. This is him and his friend. They hiked for 6 weeks. He lives in New Hampshire, but he did start in Georgia, and so they were northbound. But, he knew he wasn't really prepared. He knew that it was going to be harder than anything he had ever done. His friend ended up joining him at the last minute, so they did the hike together, and, it was hard. It was hard. And so, but definitely, I just got a better sense of how difficult it could be, but everybody's experience is different. And the fun thing to notice is that this was published 1997, so he probably hiked it 95, 96, 94, however long it took him to write the book, but whenever he hiked it and then wrote the book. So around 1997 is when I hiked my portion of Georgia to North Carolina. And so he talks about how the other hikers, sometimes they would see on the shelters when they would get, meet up at shelters to sleep, that the other hikers that were more seasoned hikers that had been around for a while, they were like, oh, the AT is getting crowded and there's so many people. But he would mention, and in his writing, he would go days and days and days without seeing another person. Where the other hiker, the other book, his was published around 2011, I think, ish. I'll check. But he would routinely see people on the way. And so it would almost be like you would see someone at a shelter, and then as you're hiking, you might pass them, or you might come upon them or overcome them and then see them at another. There was a lot more of that community kind of meeting up and going and hiking. So there's definitely a time difference in the two books, but the writing style. But I really do love his writing style, and I highly recommend any of his books. Definitely the two that I read. The first one was The Lost Continent, and that was his trip around the United States. So this was super great. I loved it. And of course, because I want to hike the Appalachian Trail, it was really good for me. So then I got into this JM Dalgliesh, and I'm showing both of them because I started with One Lost Soul, and I got to chapter 4, and it was just dragging. Like, it never grabbed me. I never got into it. It just seemed really drudgery. It was just, and it has all of the ingredients of something that I would like. It's a murder mystery. It's a thriller. It is sort of that dark and rainy and spooky, and they are where are they? I want to say they're not in the United States. England, London. I can't remember now. It did not stick with me. None of it, but it starts off a frosty chill of the dawn. It's just that cold, spooky kind of, and it just didn't get me. And so then I thought, well, okay, let me go back and look at some of the reviews. And some of the reviews were very similar in that first book, and they were like, it was just hard to get through, and it was kind of, the writing wasn't great. It was, so then I was like, well, because I have 5 of them, so I was like, well, let's jump to number 2. Maybe he got better by number 2, and a little bit better, but no, it was like the same. And so I kind of went back to the reviews, and I do not often DNF books. But when you have, like, I'm just going to read it for the sake of reading. I'm going to push through so that I can say that I read it. Like, some of them are difficult reads, but they're worth it. So I feel bad, but I DNF'd both of them, and I just was like, I just can't. So this is kind of why July is like, it's not a great reading month. My Walk in the Woods was great. Jaws was great. Dangerous Behavior, that was really good. But then it kind of goes downhill from here. Okay. And then I am reading this because my daughter is reading it. I'm also struggling. It's not grabbing me, but I want to read it because she's reading it. So this I am going to push through. But I don't know. She really liked the series. She's almost finished with book 4, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm coming. I'm gonna do it. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. just not landing anywhere with me. And then I did get a book haul from my friend Lori, my Lori books, and as I was going through them, this one popped up, and it is, I don't read erotica per se. I don't intentionally read erotica, but I was like, oh, let me just like pick up one, and it's interesting because it is, this was published in 1969. It is a collection of short, chapter-long stories. And they're all very different. But the writer, she was born in 1903 in Paris, and they're essays. It's a collection of essays. And so I got to page 90, and then I was like, am I really gonna finish this? Am I like, it's because some of it is just bizarre. It's just bizarre. Some of it's okay, but then I was just like, oh, well, there's just another one. I'll just chalk it up this month. I'm just gonna go through and try some, and maybe it's just, I'm just not in the mood. I'm just not in the mood to finish things right now. I don't know. But the Dalgliesh, this guy, this JM Dalgliesh, this series, the Hidden Norfolk book. So this is the Hidden Norfolk series. Well, I also had the same author, JM Dalgliesh, Duncan McAdam Mystery, and these are the Misty Isle series, and I think I have about 5 of these books. So I sort of jumped ship but stayed within him, and this one I'm doing better on. I'm on page 63. In the front, it's got some Scottish names, people and places, so that when they have the slang in there, you can figure out what it is. Most of it I can figure out by context, but it was a blether, and is a chat or a conversation, and I did have to go back because out of the context of everything, I was like, what? He's not allowed to have a blether? Like, what is that? He is put on assignment to go back to where he grew up, and it's not really a punishment, but it's sort of a punishment. He was requested, I guess there was it's like a 20-year-old disappearance, assumed murder, and a cold case, and then they're bringing him back on because they finally found the body. So this is where I am right now. So I'm gonna get through this, and then hopefully if it's good, I will continue with the series. If it's not, I just, like I said, I like to finish books when I start them, but I have a whole stack of books that I would love to read, that I would like to get to. And yeah, do you push through? Is it worth it? Do I have to? I don't have to. So I'm just, so A Long Time Dead, this is what I'm currently reading, and so I should be able to finish this by the end of the month. And then I'll need to peck away at this. I'll need to get going on this because I just do. And so, yes, so the takeaway from these is that I've discovered I like travel writing, and so I did find some other travel writing books, which is it's a different genre. I think it's sort of different than what I'm used to looking for or seeing, but once I stumbled upon him, and then I got my books from my friend Lori, and I was going through, and there were several that were travel writing, and I was like, I really do enjoy this. So I learned that about myself and got some more. And maybe I can do just a whole travel writing, but I am kind of compiling my walking books, my Appalachian Trail / outside walking books, and putting those together. And so, yeah, so that is the wrap up of July, even though we still have a week or so left. And so we can add this to the list. So I didn't complete very many. I started a lot and didn't complete them. But that's okay. It happens. I really did enjoy a walk in the woods. So that's good, as long as I enjoyed the reading, right? So let me know if anybody has read anything by this, because very mixed reviews. And I did have a friend recommend The One Lost Soul to me. And so that's why I was like, oh, I'll read it. I have that. She's like, oh, they're great. And I just didn't feel the same way. So it happens. But thank you for watching. And until next time, I will be reading.